take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's Sunday, September 11th, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 135, UFC 279 recap. After that, we jump to some MMA news, and boy, do we got a few great stories to talk about. And then we preview the Sandhagen versus Sandhagen fight night coming up next weekend. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
Social media accounts, guys. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the same at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you are not following us already, make sure you go and do it. We're posting funny memes, shorts, and TikToks as well down here on this channel. Hit us up down there. Guys, the shorts are actually doing very well. If you see those, make sure you smash the like button on those and share those on your social media accounts, guys. That really helps us out. We're really pushing those shorts out. We've kind of gotten away from the longer form clips. We might post a few here and there now, but really, we're really trying to get like 2 to 3 shorts a day on YouTube. It's really helping us out a lot just doing that. So if you guys see those, please, I'll say it again, share them on your social media accounts, guys. It really helps us out.
And keep in mind, everyone, I will be doing a promotion video here very, very soon. We are talking about it. Guys, the offer is still on the table. If we are on my camera, I don't know if we are, but if we are, guys, we hit 10,000 subscribers. You can go and watch me. We will live stream it. You can watch me get head kicked KO in an octagon. I will go and fight an amateur fight with no real training. It will be an absolute disaster. I will probably have CTE for the rest of my life if I already don't from football. But if you guys want to see
I'm
that,
sure I do.
be sure and smash that subscribe button and tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed down below. Make sure you smash that like button. And, of course, share this live stream on your social media accounts as well. That really, really, really helps. Devin, do you mind doing me a favor real quick and fixing Mason's camera? His top of his head's getting cut off, and it's triggering me. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely true. I want to bring up a few comments before we jump into UFC 279. Lamza Unfiltered says, how are yas, lads? Great night betting last night. I had Johnny Walker and Hamzat both first round at 25-1. Let's go, Lamza. Atta boy.
Damn.
Big payday. Come on. He says plus Nate Hamzat had to finish at 20 plus. Over parlay, most profitable UFC in a long time. Happy to hear that, Lamza. Made some money myself last night. Pretty good. If Tony Ferguson would have won, I would have hit a 5-fight parlay, so I was a little devastated about that, but it is what it is. I did bet on Johnny Walker at a plus 180. How do you pass that up? He also says, I had Rodriguez, which so did I. I bet on Rodriguez as well. And he said, which won on my parlay, but I can admit he didn't deserve it with laughing emojis. I'm going to have to totally agree with that. He did absolutely not deserve that, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Give your money back. That doesn't count.
No,
Don't do that.
That's
cheating.
DraftKings Kings takes enough
I'd
of
be
it,
fucking
so.
pissed, dude. I'd go up to the counter in Vegas like, this is some bullshit.
Give me my money back. We will get into that Rodriguez Jing Liang fight because, oh my goodness.
Yeah, guys, if you have not watched our fight companion already, do it after this live stream. Don't do it right now. But go check that out. We had a lot of fun last night. We had Devin on the podcast, and we had Jimmy as well. It was a lot of fun. Finally got the synopsis of Jimmy's book. Sounds very
we got a synopsis of Jimmy's book, and it's cool to have Jimmy on. He's becoming a staple of the podcast and the fight companions. I cannot wait for UFC 280. I'm really gonna try to get the whole crew here. So Jimmy, we got Devin, of course, Cash and Morgan for an epic night of fights. I think that fight companion would be so much fun.
It'd be absolutely incredible. What up, Teron Brown? What up, fellas? Is what he said in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Teron?
I think it's time. I think we should just start at the top as we always do. Let's get into our recap. UFC 279, main event of the evening. Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Right off the bat, we all know that this wasn't the original matchup. They were going to do Khamzat Chimaev, Nate Diaz. We don't even really have to hash all that shit out. We all know what happened there, the craziness, the last-minute matchups. But I'm telling you right now, the way Nate Diaz looked last night, I am so fucking glad they went with that Tony Ferguson fight. Could you imagine if the main event was over that. It would have been the Khamzat Chimaev Kevin Holland fight, but it would have been Nate Diaz on the losing end.
Tabor Craig, and let me tell you, I was saying that for 2 weeks. I think everyone was saying it. No one wanted to see Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. And the people who said they wanted to, I mean, come on, did you really want to?
No.
Nate Diaz Army, he can do it no matter what.
And I'm sorry, but the Nate Diaz Army, I love you guys, but I mean, at the same time, let's fucking relax. Khamzat Chimaev did not run from Nate Diaz. He is not scared of Nate Diaz. That's all I was seeing today. Yeah. Oh, Khamzat's a bitch. He was scared of Nate Diaz. He dropped out of that fight on purpose. He was avoiding Nate. He was going to get knocked the fuck out. Guys, shut up. I'm sorry. That was not the case.
Yeah. Teron Brown says, I really don't like Ferguson at 170 because he's very slow there. If you watch how fast he was against Chandler compared to how he looked last night, it's a big difference. I actually brought that up on the Fight Companion, and I totally agree with that, but we'll talk about that later. Or no, never mind. We're on that fight right now. What am I talking about? But I totally agreed with that. On the side of Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz, this fight, to kind of jump around a little bit, it was a fight I definitely wanted, and I was excited to see it. And there were some good moments in this fight. But what I got to be honest here, it was one of the more sloppy main events that I have ever watched in my life.
Dude.
It was so sloppy. It was so weird. And, you expect it. It's Tony Ferguson. It's Nate Diaz. So you're going to get some shenanigans going on. But
like Nate was just leaning against the fence mid-fight, just like walking around the octagon, like didn't care. Tony at one point pulled the Nick Diaz and laid down on the ground. And
yeah.
It was strange.
Yeah, the semantics of it were...
I didn't really enjoy that aspect of it, but I mean, I was entertained the entire time. I'll give that.
Yeah, and it was a good scrap. It was a good fight.
Oh, it was a really good fight.
I really did enjoy it. I'm going to say it here, and again, it pains me to say this, okay, because I do love Tony Ferguson, but man, we have seen a steep decline since that Gaethje fight, which you brought up last night. Yeah, that fight
changed him.
It did absolutely change him, and at this point in Tony Ferguson's career, I love the guy. I think he's done so much for the sport, and he is a legend, and hopefully a future Hall of Famer with being an interim champion. But I think there's a time to hang it up. And like the way I saw him at 170, it's not the same Ferguson that I remember, who was going on that 10, 11 fight win streak. It's just a completely different guy. I think prime Tony Ferguson would have beat Nate Diaz.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't have it.
Well, this fight was 5 years too late.
Yeah.
We said that a lot. Like they should have made this fight 5 years ago. The fact that it was being made now, it seemed like a disservice to both men.
Yeah. Teron Brown says if that was McGregor last night, he would have knocked out Tony. 100%. And it was just sloppy. There were some like spinning back fists and elbows and like crazy little like rolls and kicks. And you expect a little of that from Tony, but I thought it was excessive. And Nate was landing combinations. He was throwing multiple strikes, whereas Tony would throw one or two and then kind of like, turn his back and like do like the butt touch or something. I don't know what that was.
He was leading with ass first, yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't a fan of that at all, and I think Tony's better than that. But it is what it is. I mean, Nate Diaz, we got to talk about that. Nate Diaz's stock has risen so much now after defeating Tony Ferguson in his last fight in the UFC, and we saw it in the post-fight interview, not press conference. But, he's talking about, I'm going to show these guys what's up. McGregor couldn't do it, and I'm going to show them that you can go make money outside of the UFC, but I'm going to come back and get the belt at the UFC. Here's the thing, guys. Nate Diaz is 37, 38 years old. If he goes out for 2 or 3 years and then he comes back at 40, 41, it's not realistic.
I don't
guys,
see it.
This was Nate Diaz's last fight in the UFC. Mark my words. He will never come back to the organization.
I absolutely 100% agree with that take. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I mean, he's the type of guy that maybe he would want to, but I mean, realistically, is that what's going to happen? I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
And it's strange because I mean, coming into this fight, we were all talking about how UFC wanted to kill Nate Diaz. They wanted to kill his hype. They didn't want him to go outside of the UFC and make buco bucks, which he would have regardless whether he got destroyed by Khamzat Chimaev or not, or even Tony. Like Tony went out there, and if Tony went out there and completely outclassed him for 5 rounds, would that still kill Nate's stock? I don't think so. Like he'd still be able to go out and box Jake Paul for who knows how fucking much money. Mm-hmm. Absolutely ridiculous amounts. But I mean, with him leaving on a win, like, do you think the UFC is mad at any point about that?
No, I don't. You know what? I genuinely believe that Dana White, despite all the things that Nate Diaz has said about the organization, I think Dana White and Nate actually have a decent relationship.
He was very respectful.
Yeah, he was. And I think, You got to understand, Nate's here to promote. He's here to sell a fight. He's here to talk a little crap about the UFC. I get that. That's all fine and dandy. But as far as Dana White personally and Nate Diaz, I think they have a fine relationship. And I don't think there's any animosity there. I do think the matchup was terrible, and the UFC was not doing Nate Diaz any favors with Chimaev. But they did rectify that. They did make this matchup, which is a legends fight. Tony Ferguson. Yeah. Ultimate Fighter, I believe it was 13, and the Nate Diaz season 5. Like, this is the fight we have always wanted to see. Granted, it was a few years too late, but this is the way to send off Nate Diaz. Sending Nate Diaz off against Khamzat Chimaev would have been awful and not something I wanted to see. And Nate Diaz deserved better, and he got better, and I'm glad that this fight happened. It lasted 4 rounds. It was entertaining. And shout out to Nate Diaz getting it done. I don't know how he pulled off that submission. That was a one-arm submission. He just pressed with his other arm.
He had his hands connected, so I guess you couldn't call it a one-arm guillotine. But, I thought it was because you couldn't see his other hand, and especially in that. And I was like, what the fuck? He tapped? Because in the original camera angle we saw on TV, you didn't see no hands tapping. It was very strange. We're like, oh, shit. So our reactions kind of sucked last night. I'm not going to lie because of that. Well, but it was just nobody expected that. A one-arm guillotine?
And I'm not going to lie. When that happened and the ref went in and, separated them, I thought something happened where it was like an eye poke or something.
I thought he got hurt.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And then they're like, oh, fight's over. And I'm like, what happened? And then come to find, because we saw Nate Diaz's other arm on his head, and I'm thinking no one's going to pull. It's Tony Ferguson. You're not going to pull off a one-arm guillotine on him. That's just not going to happen. But it did happen. And shout out to Nate Diaz. That was absolutely incredible. I do want to bring this up.
Absolutely incredible.
The Ant-Man channel said, didn't Royce Gracie come back at 41 years old?
Yeah, and he got crushed by...
But here's the thing. The sport has evolved and changed so much. Father Time is undefeated in the sport. And what you're seeing, the evolution of the UFC. Remember back when your prime was 34, 35, 36 in the UFC? But the thing is now with the evolution of mixed martial arts, we are having children. And when I say children, I mean 5 or 6 years old, starting out in mixed martial arts, working and evolving that whole time to where they become adults. They're in their primes. Perfect example. Watch the Contender Series. Watch the Contender Series, man. You have 19, 20-year-olds who are so technical, who are throwing back and forth and just they're some of the best fights. I can't watch the Contender Series live, but I always make it a point to try and go back and watch them the next day or whatever, because man, I'm telling you right now, I forget, it was the 2 Yasmins, but they were 19 and 20 years old. They're 2 girls. It's one of the best fights this year, regardless of UFC, Dana White's Contender Series. That fight was electric. It was a ton of fun, man. But, you just have really, really young fighters coming up who've been doing this the whole time. So that's why I bring it up with the Royce Gracie thing and being 41 and Nate coming back at 41. I just don't think it's reasonable.
He fought Matt Hughes, right? In his comeback, and he just got completely outclassed.
Yeah, when you're 41 years old, it's not going to... The
game left him. Well. And that would happen with Nate if he came back in 3-4 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just...
100%.
I don't want to see that. Teron Brown, Dustin called Diaz and Ferguson bum Olympics. Dude, you failed twice at becoming a champion in the UFC. Shut up. Yeah, that was pretty disrespectful. Yeah. But Dustin wanted that fight, especially when Chimaev and Holland got made. People were on deck trying to figure out who was going to fight Nate. A lot of people are throwing their names out. You have Bilal Muhammad, Dustin Poirier. A lot of people were trying to get that fight. So I get it. He's a little salty. He didn't get that fight. But he's fighting Michael Chandler. That's a way bigger matchup. That's a way better fight.
It is.
It is what it is. I was very impressed with Nate Diaz, man. He's still got it. It's not one of those things where it's the Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler fight. Coming into that Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler fight, we were all like, is Nick going to be his old self? How is he going to look in this fight? It was not this situation with Nate.
Yeah.
Nate still got it. He still can fight if he really wanted to. He could still be out there and be competitive with some of the top guys in the world if he really wanted to. And we saw that last night. He beat Tony Ferguson, dude, and he was outclassing Tony Ferguson from 2 to 4. So, could he come back? Yeah.
Yeah, he could come back.
No.
He could come back, but the thing is, man, is he's not going to take on top competition, and he sure as heck is not going to be fighting for a belt. It's just completely unrealistic in my personal opinion. You know, now if Nate Diaz does come back and they end up doing the McNuggets versus Diaz 3 in the UFC organization, well, great. All power for him, and I'm down to see that. I don't care if Nate's 40-41. We have to see the score settled there for that trilogy with McGregor. But outside of that, I mean, we know what Nate Diaz is more than likely going to do. Jake Paul, we'll talk about Jake Paul in the announcement of the fight later on, but at this point in time, you know, Nate is going to go fight Jake Paul inevitably, and then maybe he'll come back to the UFC and fight Conor McGregor.
I don't see it happening. I mean, if the UFC was smart, you'd do it. One fight deal with Nate Diaz. Just get the Conor trilogy over with, make as much money as fucking possible, you know. But I don't see it happening. Yeah. It's not going to happen in my opinion. Yeah, but shout out to both these men. Like, it was a very, very entertaining main event and pay-per-view worthy. A lot of people coming in this card were not saying, like, I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah.
Why would I want to buy that card? And it was worth all $81 last night. Well,
yeah, and I was more apt to get UFC 279 seeing, you know, Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson than I was watching fights that I knew who the winners were going to be beforehand. You know, you had Tony Ferguson versus Jing Liang. I knew Jing Liang would go out there and defeat Tony Ferguson. And based on the Tony Ferguson we got in that main event, you don't think Lee would have beat the living crap out of him?
Oh, Lee would have fucked him up.
He would have finished him. He would have finished him in the first round. And then you would have had Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. And you know what's going to happen there. You know what's going to happen. Chimaev's going to take Nate Diaz down. He's going to submit him, or he's going to pummel him into the mat. This card ended up being so much better because they made the changes necessary. And unfortunately, you know, Kevin Holland was kind of the sacrificial lamb, but he did. Right? I mean, he did do everything he possibly could, you know, so.
Yeah, it was a really great card. That's what Lamza just said. It was a great card. Really enjoyed it. It was absolutely fantastic card.
I enjoyed the card quite a bit. I rated it a B overall. Like, I enjoyed it, so.
Yeah. Let's get into church coin bets. I think we've talked enough about this main event. You know, shout out to both men. Tony's a fucking legend. Like, well, actually, real quick before we move on, we all know what's happening with Nate. He's going to go off, do boxing and stuff.
Yeah.
What's next for Tony? Does he stay at 170? Does he go back down to 155? Like, I don't even know how many fights are on his contract.
If I'm being honest, man, I've said it once. Fights. I'm going to say it again. Either Legends fights or retire.
Yeah.
You know, either fight a guy like Lazon or, you know, if Cerrone was still here, fight Cerrone again, you know, because I know he fought him back in 2019. But it's like guys like that. And again, I know Cerrone's retired, but individuals
Matt Brown?
that. Matt Brown, that's a great matchup. You could do Clay Guida. Obviously a lightweight, not welterweight, but lightweight for Tony if you wanted to go back. I think Clay Guida versus Tony Ferguson.
Are
you kidding me or what? That's a great matchup, dude. That's a lot of fun. So hopefully, you know, I mean, I'll still tune in and watch Tony Ferguson. I love him, but at the same time, like.
Is Tony Ferguson the new Sam Alvey?
No, come on. Don't put disrespect on Tony Ferguson, man.
What do you mean?
Because Tony Ferguson was the interim champ at one time.
I'm not disrespecting him at all. I'm just saying the loose streak. The loose, that's all.
Dude, that was like 9 fights in a fucking row.
Devin. Yeah. Sam Alvey lost 37 fights in a row. Tony Ferguson lost.
Now you're being non-factual.
5 fights in a row. And let me give you the little lineup real quick, okay? You had Justin Gaethje, Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, and now Nate Diaz. All killers, man. Sam Alvey has fought a tomato can, a trash can.
So now you're disrespecting other fighters.
A green beans can. I mean, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing here? You can't even make that comparison. You're talking about the former interim champion of the world. I'm not disrespecting
him. I'm just saying the lose streak. The loose will he succeed the lose streak and be a winner that way? I don't know. I was, you know, whatever, man.
If he loses to Clay Guida, Matt Brown, name of Joe Lozon, then yeah, I'll say Sam Alvey. But he's got to lose all those fights first.
Yeah.
He's got to lose all those ones first. Shout out to Tony. I still love him. He's still one of my favorites, dude. Just like, I fucking love the guy. I wouldn't, after all the commotion with the chaos in the back, they canceled the press conference. He was on camera and he's like, yeah, Hamza was getting in everybody's fucking face.
He didn't get
in mine, though. Blades and shades, baby.
I think it was
didn't
Devin.
want to get cut with these razors.
I think it was Devin who brought it up on the Fight Companion. He's like, man, I love fighters' mentality because it's like, you know, Hamzat's 185 pounds, Tony's 155, soaking wet, and he's like, yeah, he didn't get in my face, man. It's just like, okay, Tony. Yep. Yeah. You don't get in the boogeyman's face, let me tell you that.
Absolutely not. What up, Kevin? How you doing, man? You said afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon, Kevin. Good to see you in the chats, man.
All right, let's go to Church Coin picks. Oh, my goodness. I put 5,000 Church Coin on Tony Ferguson to get the victory there. Damn, did I regret that one after the way that happened.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. It is unfortunate. I did put 3,000 church coin on Tony Ferguson. I lost that. And then I put 1,000 on the decision for Tony. Lost that.
I had 1,000 on Tony by sub for my prop bet. And,
Man, could you imagine had you had done that for Nate?
Coin. Oh, I know, dude.
That prop probably was like 800+ or something like that.
I know. Yeah, crazy.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Khamzat Chimaev and Kevin Holland. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I'll say this. I truly thought Khamzat was going to be a little pissed off and was just going to try to fuck with Kevin for a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I was absolutely wrong. Just immediately fucking went for the takedown, ragdolled him.
Well, and, I think Kevin Holland made a bit of a mistake because he's going for the high five or the touching of gloves before the ceremonial fight, but you got to protect yourself at all times. And Khamzat took that opportunity and goes, oh, yeah, oh, whoop, goes right in for the takedown. I gotta, here's the thing. I was really impressed with how hard Kevin Holland was trying to get back to his feet.
He did get back to his feet multiple times.
Yeah. And I respect Kevin Holland a lot for, one, taking that fight, and two, doing what he needed to do to try to get back to his feet and being successful at that. The only issue is you're talking about the guy, the man, the bear, the wolf, I should say the wolf, Khamzat Chimaev, and he just was not going to let go of Kevin.
No.
And, that was a wrap, man. I mean, Kevin did everything possible to try to get out of that submission, to try to stand up from his feet, which he was successful on.
No, once he had the Darce, it was over.
Yeah.
Like, the second he was wrapped up in that, even though he did fight very well and survived for a very long time in the submission,
he almost got out of that Darce choke, but then Khamzat, being the savage submission artist that he is, readjusted. Perfectly timed readjustment, and then sunk in the choke, and it was over. It was a wrap from there.
Yeah, it was absolutely ragdoll performance, like scary. And a lot of people thought that was going to happen.
Yeah,
I was just kind of hoping because the beef, because of the trash talk, because of this and that they were going to at least stand in the pocket for a second.
Yeah, no.
Khamzat
didn't want any of that.
Didn't want none of that.
But again, this is what I talked about on the Fight Companion. I'll bring it up again. Khamzat, despite being frustrated, despite being upset, he was very, very smart and strategic in this fight because he had everything to lose and nothing to gain in this situation. Khamzat Chimaev wanted to go out there. He wanted to take no damage, and he wants a quick turnaround because he's a smart fighter. Did you know, again, Kevin Holland did not land one significant strike on Khamzat Chimaev in that entire round because Khamzat just dominated him on the ground. So Khamzat Chimaev took no damage. I mean, realistically, and knowing the history behind Khamzat and what he does, he could take a fight in 8 weeks.
I want him to fight Colby.
Oh,
I want that fucking
that'd be a
matchup,
great fight.
dude.
That'd be one of the best fights this year.
I need it.
It'd be the best fight this year.
Can Colby stay off the ground with him? He's one of the most elite wrestlers in the entire division.
I don't think so.
I don't know, though. I mean, I think Khamzat's going to be better on the ground.
Well, and I think Khamzat will take Colby down. I think Colby can get back up to his feet, and I think Colby's legit. I mean, come on, man. If it wasn't for Usman, he'd be champion.
I just wish we would have seen Gilbert and Colby fight already, because that seems like a matchup that also should have been made and didn't, never happened. No. Because we saw what Gilbert was able to do. Khamzat could not take Gilbert down, and when he did, Gilbert immediately got back to his feet, and then that's why it turned into that striking war that it was. Can Colby replicate that? Maybe. I mean, it's a big maybe. I'd say it's 50-50 chance Colby can get back to his feet.
Oh, bro, and I'm not going to sit here and disrespect Colby Covington at all. Does he have a chance against Khamzat Chimaev? Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
No, dude,
yeah.
that's
he could beat him.
Super competitive fight, and he might beat him. He very well could beat him. He has the capability and the talent and the cardio, the second lung, as he calls it, even though it should be a third lung.
The second lung.
You know your anatomy a little better, Colby. But outside of that, no, yeah, definitely. That's the fight that needs to be made. But we know historically Colby picks and chooses his fights, and I don't know if he's going to take on Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, he might just be calling for an immediate title shot after the trilogy between Leon Edwards and
dude, like no joke, dude. If I was Colby, I would not want any of that. But I mean, if there was ever a fight you needed to take to get yourself back into title contention, it's that one.
However, if Colby Covington takes on Khamzat Chimaev and he beats Khamzat, I don't care if he has fought Kamaru Usman twice and Kamaru Usman goes out there and let's just say hypothetically beats Leon Edwards for the trilogy and becomes the welterweight champion once more. I do not care if Colby has lost twice to Kamaru Usman, okay? If he goes out there and beats Khamzat Chimaev, he is the next guy in line.
Oh, absolutely.
Period, end of discussion.
Regardless if he wins that trilogy.
Regardless. I don't care. Whoever wins that fight, that is the true number one contender in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Like, what's going to happen? I think Hamzat's going to stay active. And I think they could just, like, he took the Kevin Holland fight. He didn't need to take that fight. Literally an unranked guy. So, I mean, he can fight anybody.
Don't you feel like he kind of needed to since he missed weight, which is super
and a lot of people were saying, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people were saying he should have just been pulled from the card entirely and not made any money.
I kind of agree. He's talking all this, and even, I don't know if you watched the interview with him and Joe after the fight, but he's talking like, hey, he's like, oh, I'll kill everybody, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but what if you go to fight for the belt and you miss weight again? Like, that's a big deal. He's like, oh, I'm not worried about that. He's like, you should be. Like, that's super unprofessional. Will he be able to make weight? Should he not be fighting at this weight? Like, what's going on?
I know it'll never happen. You know what another great matchup is? Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Hamzat Chimaev. Oh, my God.
Dude. That guy is not... Shavkat is not talked about at all.
He's the dark horse. He's the dark horse.
He's the dark horse. And, dude... You can go back to our episodes early on this podcast before even anyone was like, oh, Charles the quitter, Charles Oliveira. And I was like, no, guys, you are sleeping. I said it time and time again on this podcast years ago. I said Charles Oliveira is the dark horse in this lightweight division. He will be a champion one day. Mark my words. And then what happened? He did, and he's been a dominant champ moving forward. I will say the same thing about Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm telling
Rakhmonov.
you, Rakhmonov.
You got it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm stuttering. I'm all hyped up. Rakhmonov. I'm telling you right now, dude, that guy will be a future champion one day. He is an absolute savage.
Yeah. Kevin, you said, what if it's the other way around? I don't know what you mean by that, my guy. Could you elaborate a little bit in the chats? I would love that matchup. Anybody versus Hamzat, I'm going to fucking watch, dude.
No.
Sign me up. And then we were all calling for that Kevin Holland fight when he was fighting 185. We all loved that matchup, and now we saw what happened. And, you know, I just need to give all the credit in the world to Kevin Holland because he took on the most dangerous guy in the entire division on 1 day's fucking notice. Like, that is such a gangster-ass move. I know he got completely ragdolled. I know he got completely dominated, but I would say Kevin Holland's stock rose with that domination. Am I wrong?
No,
Yes.
yeah, he does with the fans. You want to know why? Because fans do something very interesting in this sport is they give respect where respect is given. The fact that, again, we're going to bring it up, Kevin Holland took this fight on 1 day notice, and he wasn't scared of doing it. And he didn't go out there, and it wasn't an embarrassment by any means. Yes, I know he didn't land a strike on Hamzat, blah, 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 and I understand that. I get that. But you know what, dude? That guy did everything humanly possible to try to get away, and he wasn't just going to bow out of that fight. Like, he had every opportunity being in that darce for like a minute and a half to tap within 15 seconds, and he was fighting to try to get out of it. No, his stock only rises in the UFC, and I'm still very excited for Kevin Holland's next fight. He's a young guy. He's an up-and-comer in this welterweight and middleweight division, so I'm still excited.
I still think Kevin Holland's the top 7-8 welterweight in the world right now.
Oh, I disagree with that. I don't think he's top 7 or 8. Top 15, I'll give you. Top 15.
You don't think Kevin would beat guys like, let's look right now, like a Jeff Neal?
No.
You don't think Kevin Holland beats Jeff Neal?
No, I don't.
I think you're fucking crazy.
No, I do not think Kevin Holland beats Jeff
Hands
Neal.
of Steel Neal?
Why?
Why? Hands of Steel Neal. I think Neal would outclass him and outpoint him, dude. 100%. I think Kevin Holland's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here. I don't want to be on the side of a dog and Kevin Holland because I love the fight.
Okay.
But
Jorge Masvidal.
Oh, Jorge pieces him up.
Oh my God,
that's not even
fucking
close.
so whack, dude.
Bro, come on.
I'm sorry. Like, no,
Kevin
I think
versus Jorge?
I would take Kevin over Jorge.
No, you wouldn't.
Kevin's a 185er, dude.
Bruh.
Versus Jorge? Yes. It's a
that's
very
delusion.
competitive fight.
Okay, how about this? Let's do this. Kevin Holland versus Jing Liang.
That's a good fight.
It's a good fight, man.
That's a great
but Jing
fucking
Liang's
fight.
number 14, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's
Chiesa,
a competitive fight.
Like, I'm telling you, like, Kevin Holland matches up very well with a lot of these guys, is what I'm saying.
Chiesa would be interesting at 12, but how about Shavkat Rakhmonov?
Oh, Shavkat fucking smokes him. It's not even fair. That guy's fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, or like Sean Brady at 8. I mean, this welterweight division is so stacked, man.
You guys never talked about the weight thing. Do you think he should fight at 185, Hamzat, or what?
So
missing weight's a big deal.
No, it's a big deal, and he missed by 8.5 pounds.
I think he did it on purpose. I think he got
yeah.
told to stop cutting weight because, I mean, the UFC was checking in on him multiple times, and apparently he's going through some sort of medical issue, which is why he missed weight in the first place. So I'm pretty sure the UFC told him to stop.
They did. I mean, remember that interview? He kind of let the cat out of the bag and was like, the UFC came in at 4 a.m. and told me not to cut weight anymore.
Which is crazy anyway.
With a medical issue.
4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. You got plenty of time to keep cutting weight. But I mean, you gotta remember too.
I mean, you could die cutting weight. I mean, it's
If he dies,
Yeah,
he dies.
100%,
You know.
but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad things worked out the way they did because I didn't want to see the Hamza Chimaev versus Nate Diaz fight. It would
no, neither did I.
way worse than this one.
Didn't need to see it. Glad it didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to church coin bets. I put 1,000 church coin on the Hamza, but he was like a minus like 600 something. So I only got 150 free church coin.
Yeah, I say my church coin because, I mean, you know, at a minus 650, it's like why even bother? I put 100 church coin on Chimaev and got 15 in return.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Li Jingliang versus Daniel Rodriguez. Robbery?
Oh,
The biggest robbery.
Sal, were you judging this fight? Oh, Sal, Diamatti, whatever. Oh my goodness, what a joke that was. Li Jingliang won that fight. And look, guys, I'm coming from a guy who bet on Daniel Rodriguez. Okay, I was very happy he won the fight because it helped my wallet terrifically. However, it was a disgrace. There was no way that Daniel Rodriguez won that fight. I mean, Li Jingliang was pressing the pace. He was landing more combinations. I did give Daniel Rodriguez either the first or third. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. I did give him one round, but Jingliang won that fight 2-1. No doubt.
The first round was so close.
Yeah.
Very, very fucking close. But I did think 2-3 were Jingliang.
I had it 3-0 for Lee.
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
Yeah.
The third round was, I mean, who would you give that one to?
Lee.
Yeah.
I thought the first round was the closest, so I gave all 3 rounds to Lee.
Yeah, I thought Lee very, very easily won that fight. So when it went split decision, I was like, okay, whatever. Jingliang, you know, they're going to give him, you know, the split decision 29-28. And then when they read the judges' scorecards and it was for Daniel Rodriguez, I was like, what were the judges watching? Do you have the judges? Because I'd like to publicly shame them on this
Who do you think
podcast
you're
right
dealing
now.
with? I got Mike Bell,
Mike Bell. What are you
Douglas
doing?
Crosby, and Ron McCarthy.
Okay, so there's one guy there that gave it for
Who gave
Jingliang.
it for Jingliang?
So Mike Bell had it.
That makes sense.
Okay, Mike Bell had it round 1 for Lee, round 2 for Rodriguez, and round 3 for Rodriguez. Douglas Crosby had it round 1 and 2 for Rodriguez, and round 3 for Lee. Ron McCarthy had it round 1 for Daniel Rodriguez, and round 2 and 3 for Lee. I don't know what they were
That's the
smoking.
guy I agree with. Round 1, I can give Rodriguez, but 2 and 3, I thought were Lee.
But 2 and 3,
Egregious.
Well, no, Li Jingliang slowed down a little bit in that third round.
Yeah, but I still thought
He was
out
pressing the
landing.
pace and landing more.
Yeah, he did slow down a little
Daniel
bit though. So
missed most of
I
his
could see that,
shots.
but nonetheless, we're all in agreement that Li Jingliang won that fight, 100%. And it was a terrible judging, and it seems like the judges' scorecards were all over the place. So,
And you know what?
Wild.
I think we all would like to here at the church would like to apologize to you, Sal D'Amato. We
Immediately
quickly
blame him.
misjudged you.
Sal, I'm not apologizing for anything. I don't
guy.
think you're a very good judge, if I'm being honest. And I will troll you, and I don't even know what you look like, but I will troll you until the end of time because I don't think you make a lot of good calls. You have been better recently. I'll give him a little praise. He has been better judging recently, Sal, so you are learning. And you know what? I'm all about forgiveness and moving forward. So you have been good as of late, but some of your previous calls, pretty bad. So it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. But shout out to Daniel Rodriguez. Like, it was a very, like another gangster move to take a guy that's a ranked guy in the division as well on 1 day's notice.
Yeah.
And it's the fight he deserved. Like, Daniel Rodriguez was fucking moving his way up through this division.
Yes, he was.
Very quickly. And he was defeating extremely tough competitive guys. And this was a good fight. Like, I know I did think Lee got the victory, but I mean, at the same time, I'm not mad the way this came out. Like, Rodriguez deserved this fight and he was competitive in it. So, I mean, it is what it is.
At least make it a tie,
It is what it
though.
is.
I mean, Lee won the fight, but it's
Yeah, it is
silly.
unfortunate, but I mean, now we're looking at Daniel Rodriguez. Whether or not we agree with the judges' scorecard, I mean, he is on a very impressive win streak here. Let's just go back all the way to 2021. April 10th, he defeated Mike Perry, who just defeated Michael Venom Page in BFKF or whatever, the bare knuckle boxing. And then he went out and beat Preston Parsons and then beat Kevin Lee in that unanimous decision win. And now Li Jingliang. He's on a very impressive win streak. I guarantee in the rankings on Monday, he will be a top 15 guy.
As he should be.
Yeah.
I say remake the fucking Kevin Holm fight.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I'm totally cool with that.
100%.
Because I'm telling you, Kevin Holland, like I think he's gonna move up in this division, and I'd love to see him versus Daniel Rodriguez be remade. Or he could just do Daniel Rodriguez versus fucking, like why not? If he didn't want to do that fight, Michelle Pereira, Neil Magny, Chiesa. Like Chiesa hasn't fought in a long time, so I mean, let's get these guys some matchups.
Right. Totally agree.
I think he's busy celebrating with his teammates. I don't know.
Who, Chiesa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
Still drunk from the night Juliana won.
Imagine he still wakes up.
Still
hungover.
wasted.
My head's killing me.
All right, shout out to everybody in the chat. Teron Brown, I would agree. I think Neil can beat Holland. I think Neil can beat Holland. I think it's just a really competitive fight. Teron Brown, I would take Holland over Masvidal. Holland versus McGregor at 170. That's not a bad matchup either. Kaza Reber, I think Rodriguez actually landed more, but Lee definitely landed the harder shots. The Ant-Man channel, a bum tried to fight me today on the street. LOL.
Was it
Be safe, my guy.
Tony Ferguson
Yeah,
and
be
Nate Diaz
safe.
or
Yeah.
what?
The Ant-Man channel. Aren't you from California? I heard things are going swell there.
No AC.
Hey, get your electric cars. But,
Yeah, but you
don't
can't
use the
charge
power
them.
grid.
Can't charge them.
Leave him alone.
Goofballs, and they still vote for the same people. It's wild. All right.
So funny.
Let's move on.
To Church Coin. So I put 10,000 Church Coin on Daniel Rodriguez. So that gave me a return. No, I'm just joking.
I was like, dang.
I put 1,000 Church Coin on Lee. Lost that one.
I put 1650 on Rodriguez. I do feel a little guilty for taking this, but I will take it. And got 1,000
You should be
church coin
ashamed.
back.
You should
Yeah,
be
you should give
ashamed.
that.
I should be ashamed. Shame.
Shame.
Rings
Get-
the bell.
You want? Take off your clothes. You're gonna do the walk.
The Ant-Man channel says LMAO. It's a living hell here.
It's a
Bro,
shithole, my
move,
guy.
man. I'm telling
Get
you.
out of California.
Hell.
Even
Bells.
just save a little bit of money and get the hell out of California. It is not good for anyone there. I'm telling
Go
you.
to
Get
Vegas.
out. There are so many better places in this country to live. I almost moved to LA like 4 years ago, and I'm so glad I didn't because what has transpired? And I, coming from a guy who has lived in California before, I lived in Burbank and then North Hollywood. Like it used to be a beautiful place to live.
What if that's how you became a big actor? Is you moved 4 years ago?
Haha, yeah, funny. Except I wouldn't call it big. I call it mediocre. But but I mean, it's true. I mean, come on, dude. Literally, my claim to fame is being called fat nationally. So there's not much to hang your hat on. But I'm telling you right now, dude, like Venice Beach is overran with bums. Like, dude, I remember going down to Venice Beach. It was a beautiful place, man. An absolute beautiful place. I loved it. You had your occasional bum, but it's Venice. You had a bunch of weird people. And now it's just an absolute crapshoot there. So shout out to California.
All right.
Absolute shithole. Let's move on
to
to
the next fight.
the next fight. Get back to the fights. Irene Aldana, Macy Chiasian. Irene Aldana was getting her ass kicked in that fight, dude. She
Yeah.
was on her way to losing. I think she had one round, like the second round I'd give her Irene or something like
I
that.
thought it was the first
No,
round.
the first round was Aldana all day,
That's right.
but then Macy dominated that second round. It was
And
not
she was looking
for
good in
Aldana.
the third, too.
Yeah,
she was
she
dominating in the third. And then to take Irene down and be up on the feet to get hit with that liver shot. That heel,
with the
right,
heel
to the
right
liver.
to the liver, man. That is a brutal shot you never want to take.
Did you
and it
guys
just
think she
knocked the
cracked
wind
a
out of
rib
her.
at first or
Probably.
something like
She
that?
probably did break her ribs, man. That was a hard kick, and that heel, we don't know how tough or how strong a heel is, man. That could not have felt good, and she just crumpled over like a lawn chair, just folded. And that's all she wrote. It was a very anticlimactic way to end such a good fight. But, Macy will be back. I mean, she looked good, dude. She was a heavy dog in this fight. She came out. She fought her butt off, man. So it is what it is.
I don't think her stock drops too much.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean,
least not
she was
in my
number
opinion.
10 in the world in this division. It was a 145 or a 140 fight, so it was catch weight. But, I mean, Irene's number 4 in the world, taking on number 10 in the world. She kind of got dominated there in the second and third. So, I mean, Chiasian's stock doesn't drop too much.
No. Will this card always go down as UFC 270 catch weight?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
so
know,
many catch
it's
weight
like
fights.
it's like so many catchweight fights on this card that like it's got to be titled that moving, in history, UFC 270 catchweight. It's just crazy. There's so many catchweight fights on this.
I say do the Irene Aldana versus Holly Holm rematch.
I like that. I'm fine with that for sure. 100%.
Irene got completely outclassed in that fight. Like, literally did absolutely nothing. So I'm sure she'd like to get that one back. But
I
yeah,
don't think
shout out to her.
does that make sense for Holly?
No.
I mean, nothing
I
makes
mean,
sense for Holly. She's 40-something years old. I mean,
Well, not only that,
All
but
right,
she
all right.
didn't lose. She didn't lose her last fight. And that was such a robbery. That was such a bad decision. I think, Sal, you were responsible for that. I don't know if
He
you
was.
were, but
He was responsible for that.
responsible
That's
for
what
that
made
one.
me angry at him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a terrible
Coming
way
for
to
you,
judge
bud.
the fight. Holly Holm won at least 3 of those rounds, man.
You.
Hey, there we go. We got producer Cam today. We don't get that too often. I love seeing it. I love seeing your pretty face.
Sal, he really got me worked up.
That's the way it goes.
That's how it is.
Ridiculous.
Let's move on to church coin picks. I put 500 church coin Tracy and did not work out for me.
Yeah, I put 1,800 on Aldana and got 1,000 church coin return on that.
All right, let's move on to the opening fight of the main card. This one's crazy because of the after story as well. Johnny Walker, Ion Cutelaba. Ion Cutelaba immediately takes Johnny Walker down. Then to Johnny to get back to his feet, get the reversal, and then get the rear naked choke after taking his back, getting both hooks in. Absolutely incredible. What a comeback victory for Johnny Walker.
Yeah, man. And, I just felt, watching obviously the UFC embeddeds as I always do, I just felt there was a different energy surrounding Johnny Walker. He discussed openly about how he used to take CBD and then, there was a little bit of THC in it and it really messed him up, made him not feel good, made him mentally unwell. And then he just, completely got off that stuff and has just been fresh and a clean fighter now. And I mean clean as far as like marijuana, not like, taking PEDs, but now he looked better. He looked happier in the embedded episodes, and I just had a feeling he was going to go out there and get the win. He did get it done. I mean, Ion Cutelaba looked good, man, and when he took him down, I was real worried for Johnny Walker because when Ion postures up and he starts dropping bombs, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock a dude out, on the ground with those strikes. But Johnny Walker was able to get out of that, eventually shrimp out, get to his feet, and get the submission win. So shout out to Johnny Walker. Great fight.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do, Cosmo. Yes, I do.
What do you say? Devin takes this shit seriously when it comes to Sal. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Johnny Walker. That was a fantastic victory over a very tough competitor in Ion Cutelaba. But I want to talk about this.
Okay.
The second the fight ends, the UFC kicked Johnny Walker and his entire team out of the arena. He didn't even have time to put his fucking shoes on or take his gloves off. He was walking around the strip barefoot with his gloves on and his shorts.
So why did they do that?
I have no idea.
No one knows why.
I heard because they didn't have tickets, but that doesn't make any sense.
That makes no fucking sense.
That's a lie.
Usually you would stay for the press conference at the very fucking least.
And at the least, you would let him get his stuff from the locker room and get there must have been some drama.
Something had to have happened. There's no way the UFC is that petty. Like, oh, you fought on this card. Oh, your blood, sweat, and tears went into the octagon, but do you have a ticket to stay? No, then get on out. There's no way. Something happened backstage. Something transpired that we don't know about that eventually we'll hear about. But that is wild. That's crazy. They just straight up kicked him out.
Fucking, I've never heard of anything like that.
So disrespectful.
Super disrespectful.
And John Kavanaugh, his coach.
Yeah, he tweeted something out.
He was like, "What in the fuck?" He's like, "Look at this," and he literally shows a video of Johnny standing on the strip barefoot with his fucking gloves on. He's like, "I didn't have time to put my shoes on."
That's crazy, man.
And I don't know. Something must have happened. Somebody talked shit to somebody. Somebody tweeted something. I don't fucking know. Crazy. I hope we get to learn more about this.
Yeah.
Chris Barnett didn't have transport back from the hospital either. Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on there with the UFC that day. I think they were just, maybe they're fired up over like the press conference getting canceled. Maybe that's some extra precautions or something like that. I don't know. Very fucking strange. And I hope that never happens ever again because that is extremely disrespectful to treat your fighters that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Very disgraceful from the UFC side. If they come out and say this is why Johnny fucking threatened one of my security officers or something like that, then okay, I understand that. Yeah. But I mean, they better come out and say something or else it's just going to be like a huge like blemish on the UFC's image, in my opinion, because it's very disrespectful, very disgraceful. But shout out to Johnny Walker for getting the very competitive victory over that. I put 500 church coin on Johnny Walker. It gave me a return of 800 church coin.
Nice. Let me double check here. I think I put 600 church coin on Johnny Walker. Or no. Yeah, 600 got a return of 960.
All right. Parlay time. I had a 3-fight parlay for 1,000 church coin. It was Tony, Hamzat, and Lee. And I definitely did not hit that one.
All right. Yeah. My parlay, I am very, very frustrated about this. So I had Walker hit, Aldana hit, Rodriguez hit, Chimaev hit. And then I put Ferguson in, and I was all in from what I had left of that church coin. I was not successful in that last fight, but a 5-fight parlay would have drastically changed the game for that church coin belt there. But it is what it is. I lost that.
So new church coin totals. But coming into this week, I had 17,802 church coin. from last week. Now I lost a total of 7,547 church coin. Give me a new total coming into this next matchup, 10,255 church coin.
Wow, powerful. I have like, what do I have? 7,933 church coin moving into next week.
Absolutely. Real quick, I'm going to read a couple chats, and then we will move on to MMA news. The MMA channel, it's a living hell. Considering, honestly, seems like Texas is becoming the main spot for a lot of people moving out there. Not sure what's in Texas that's alluring people there. It's California, but different, especially in Austin. Teron Brown. Never seen a body kick KO from like that. Offer back.
That was
what was
wild.
up with that? Chris Burnett didn't leave it. Okay, that's it. MMA news time. All right, we're going to start with the new UFC fights that have been announced. A couple high-profile fights have been announced. We're going to start here with this one. Darren Till versus Dricus du Plessis was announced for UFC 282 in December. Very highly anticipated matchup. Finally, Darren Till is returning after, I think, his 1 year hiatus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's had a string of bad luck, unfortunately, in the UFC. A lot of injuries, but that's just because the guy trains hard. So
That's it?
You say trains hard or drinks hard?
Both.
trains hard.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He probably drinks hard too. I'm
Probably
assuming.
drinks hard, yeah.
He probably
He's
he's just a
definitely
hard
big.
guy in general.
Stay hard.
Stay hard. Well, he's probably training with Hamzat constantly because, I mean, that was Darren Till's kryptonite as well. I mean, look at the Derek Brunson fight. Got taken down and smashed. I mean, he'd probably get taken down and smashed by, like, Vittori and other people like that. So, hopefully training with Hamzat's a big thing. But Duplessis is no fucking joke on the feet. Like, Darren Till needs to have his P's and Q's and needs to cross all his T's and dot all his I's because if he fucks up even a little bit with this Duplessis fight, I mean, he can get knocked the fuck out. Duplessis is scary, dude. And this is a great matchup for him and Till. Like, this is a winnable fight for both men, a very competitive fight. And I love that this is a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a great fight. This is UFC 282.
Yeah, in December.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be that card is also shaping up to be really good as well. If we can get John Stipe and then Jerry Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira too, that card's looking really good. These last three pay-per-views are bomb, dude. 280, 281, and 282. But as far as the matchup is concerned, you know more than likely these guys are just going to throw hands. It's going to be an extremely technical fight, and I don't see this going the distance, if I'm being honest. I think someone's going to sleep, and I don't know who it is, but I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, very excited. Let's move on to other MMA news. We have another UFC fight that was announced for UFC 281 in November. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler is official.
Yeah.
Contracts were signed. It will happen in the Madison Square Garden. I mean, this is an incredible matchup.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely incredible matchup. I mean, it kind of does suck because I'd like both these men to fight down. They're not getting a title shot anytime soon against the new champ, whether it's Islam or whether it's Oliveira, especially if Poirier wins. If Poirier wins, like, is he going to get a third title fight victory? Like, title fight?
You kind of got to give it to
I
him.
mean, but who has he fought since his last fight? Who's his last fight? Poirier. It was Oliveira, right?
Yeah, that was his last fight.
So he's not going to beat Chandler and get a title fight,
No.
even if it's Islam. Like, let's say Islam beats Oliveira at 280.
So then he'd have to beat Chandler and then fight Oliveira and then get a shot against Islam if that was the
It
case.
would have to be something like that. I mean, I'd say he has to win at least two top 5 matchups to get another title fight. I
Yeah.
mean, he's had two title
He's got
fights
two
now.
opportunities.
Isn't
so
he
yeah, no, I
ranked
totally
number
agree.
2 right now? Is he ranked number 2?
Yeah, he's number 2 in
he's
the
number
world.
2.
Yeah.
I mean, if you beat number
5.
Yeah.
Chandler's 5.
I
See,
mean-
that's what I'm saying. I was like, I like it when they do these top 5 matchups. They're great. But at the same time, like, we say this every fucking time we talk about the lightweight division.
Yeah.
It's the diva division. These top 5 guys only want to fight each other. They never want to fight down. How many guys are outside the top 5 that deserve huge matchups? A Rafael Fiziev. Like, so many guys like that. Like, Poirier and Fiziev should have been fighting.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. But this matchup is awesome.
It's awesome. It's a great matchup.
We
I
have to
love
try
it.
to balance both of these right now.
Beneil
because this is-
Dariush?
Right, Beneil's getting screwed over, man. Plain as day in the lightweight division. Rafael Fiziev, I want to see him take on a top 5 guy. We do have these guys, Matsuts Gamrot, again, moving up in the rankings here. Armin
Isn't he
Sarzukian.
fighting Dariush?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Gamrot,
he is.
that's a
Yeah.
great
That's
fucking
a-
fight.
that's
But
a
I mean, at the same
fantastic
time,
fight.
Dariush shouldn't have had to take that fight.
No.
Gamrot's sitting at 9. Dariush should have been fighting Dustin.
Well,
Dariush should have been fighting Justin Gaethje.
Yes.
Dariush should have been fighting Michael Chandler.
Well, and Dariush was supposed to take on Islam Makhachev, but that fight ended up falling through. And Beneil is on what, a 9-fight win streak, 9 or 10-fight win streak. Like, this guy in the lightweight division, the hardest division in the UFC, deserves to have that number one contender fight.
Give him
and
a
is
shot.
Still not getting the
Give him
opportunity.
a shot. He deserves a shot.
He does. He really does, man. And he's not getting any younger. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Dariush. I mean, because beating Matsuts Gamrot, is he going to get a fucking title fight after that?
No, of course not. No, he's going to have to fight 2 or 3 more times. So this guy's going to have to win, what, 12, 13 fights in a row?
Yeah, I know. Just like Islam. Islam's on what, 11-fight win streak or something like that?
Yep.
It's crazy what's going on in this lightweight division. I fucking hate the divas. Like, I have so much respect for Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. I love these men. I think they're fantastic fighters. I think they're fantastic human beings. But at the same fucking time, you need to fight these guys that are up and coming guys. You need to fight a Fiziev. You need to fight a Dariush. You need to fight a Gamrot, so they don't have to just fight each other and then kill off future contenders. I don't want to see Dustin Poirier get a 3rd title fight. We've seen that happen twice.
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev smashes Islam Makhachev smashes all 5 of these guys in the top 5, other than Olivier and I would say Dariush.
Yeah. Well, and not only that too, but that Beneil Dariush Matsuts Gamrot fight is on that Abu Dhabi card,
can't fucking
October
wait for that one.
22nd.
That's a great
card,
fight.
I say this every year, I feel like, but I've never seen a card so stacked in my life. That card, even the early prelims are just ridiculous. Like, just it's so stacked. It should be illegal. Like, you should not have that many great fights on one card, but I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to charge us $100 for that one. I'd pay it, though. It's that good of a card.
You know, let's just get back to the matchup, because it is what it is now.
It is
I
what
can
it
sit
is.
here and scream into the mic all I fucking want about it, but I mean, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, like, it's a fantastic matchup. Who do you see winning? Like, gun to your head, who's getting the victory?
Ooh, that's so hard, dude. That's so hard. This one is one of those, if this is not even money, whoever the dog is, I'm just going to put money on. If Vegas does not have this fight at even -110 apiece, then if, let's say Chandler's coming in at a +145, then I'm betting on Chandler. If Dustin Poirier comes in at +145, then I'm putting money on Dustin, because it's a coin flip for me. I don't know who wins this fight. You got the speed and the power of Michael Chandler, who can put literally anyone out. We just saw that against Tony Ferguson. Or you have Dustin Poirier, the very technical striker. Yeah, striker who's just on the top of his game still. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
I'm leaning Dustin. Only slightly, though. Only slightly, I'm leaning Dustin. I mean, It's a very competitive matchup. I think it's going to be a really hard fight to pick. It's probably going to be a pick and fight.
Probably.
Line-wise. So I'm very excited, man. Very excited for that matchup. Very excited for UFC 281 and 282. But let's move on to some YouTube boxing news. We have Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva has been announced. It is official. It is going to happen. Does anybody care?
Nope, not at all.
I care.
No, I'm just joking. I am pumped for this. I just wanted to troll for a second, guys. No, I am actually very, very excited for this. However, I do have to be honest here. Anderson Silva, still at the top of his game, just took on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and defeated him in a boxing match. It is phenomenal. It is incredible how good Anderson Silva still is at his old age of 47, 48 years old. However, Jake Paul is the real deal. Love or hate the guy can scrap, man, and he's got so much power, and he is a true, undeniable athlete that we have to put respect on. The power concerns me on the side of Silva, so he's going to have to do a really good job, as the Spider often does, of navigating through those punches. However, it does concern me a little bit because, we have seen Anderson get tagged. Uriah Hall, in one of his last UFC fights. You also have Israel Adesanya. It makes me a little nervous because when you're that old, it only takes one shot, and for sure your lights are going to be put out. So Anderson's going to have just to be super technical and move around. But I love the fight. I love the matchup. If I'm betting, I hate to do this. I hate to do this to the Spider, but I'm going to bet on the young kid, of course. I'm going to bet on the KO, the prop bet. But, I'm rooting for Anderson Silva. I love Silva. But you know what? I think
it's going to be much more competitive than Jake has ever fought.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you.
Fight.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of people are not going to like this. They're going to call me a loser, and it is what it is. Comment below if you feel that way.
Mediocre loser, yeah, because I can't even be a loser and do that at a high caliber rate. But I'm actually a fan of Jake Paul, too. I love watching Jake Paul fight, dude. I think he promotes himself well. I think he's a true athlete that deserves my respect as a boxing fan and an MMA fan, taking on these MMA guys. So it is what it is.
I'm leaning Anderson Silva, to be honest.
Wow.
I think just because I think he still has it. I mean, we saw that boxing match against Julio Shaver. I don't know the fuck.
Cesar
that
Chavez
Cesar
Jr.
Chavez Jr. Whatever. I mean, he looked very technical. He looked very fucking good in that, and his hands are lightning quick. So I mean, I'm actually leaning Silva in this fight. I think it's going to be Jake Paul's most competitive fight to date. But if he lands, he lands. You know, he could knock Silva out. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 40-year-old man. But I mean, this is the first time we're actually seeing Jake Paul fight a guy that's legitimately in his weight class too.
Right.
So very interesting to see what happens. And let's be real, Anderson Silva has fought way better fighters than Jake Paul.
Yes, he has.
So I don't know. It's definitely the most competitive fight. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm leaning slightly Anderson Silva, but am I gonna be shocked if he goes out there and gets fucking starched by Jake Paul? No, I will not.
No.
All right. Let's move on to our preview. Or actually, I'm going to read these chats real quick. I want Chandler to sleep Dustin because he's been running his mouth a lot as Teron Brown. I'm picking Anderson Silva and Cosmo. This is definitely the most competitive fight for Jake Paul on paper. Absolutely, Teron Brown. I hate to say it, but I think we're going to see the demise of Max Holloway next, just like we are currently getting with Ferguson. Ooh, I don't know, man.
That's a hot take, bro.
I
What do
still
you
think
mean?
Max is the number 2 guy in the entire world.
I mean, Tony Ferguson's on a 5-fight skid, but, you know, Max Holloway's still taking on guys like Cater. He just dismantled Yair Rodriguez. Like,
that was
these are top
super competitive
guys,
fight,
man.
but-
He's only losing to Alexander Volkanovski. I think you're jumping the gun there.
I think Volkanovski is just so fucking good. I don't think anybody in 145 can compete with him right now. He's just like, he might go down as the GOAT of the entire division. Definitely number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, without a doubt. And I would love to see him move up to 155 and take on the new champion, whether it's Islam Makhachev or Charles
I think
Oliveira.
a good fight for him, or a fun fight, I would say, is Volkanovski Chandler. I really want to see that fight because they're like around the same height.
I
about
get
the
that.
same girth. You
But
know what I'm
if
saying?
I get
Alexander
that, but I mean, he's
Volkanovski's-
getting a title shot immediately.
Exactly.
No, for sure. But that's the fight I would want to see the most in that division. It's just, for some reason, just it entices me.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Enchants me.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I'm not going to lie. If Islam beats Oliveira and gets the belt, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, who the fuck are you taking in that one?
I'm taking Volk.
I'm taking Islam, but
I'm telling you why.
I don't know,
That's
dude.
a tough
Islam's
fight,
got to get
dude.
past Charles. I think Charles defeats Islam.
Yeah, I mean,
100%
I
right.
actually agree with you. I mean,
think
not
Charles is
that
gonna
Charles
defeat
defeats Islam. I think that's the most competitive fight you can make at 155. Period. I have no idea what's going to happen on the ground. On the feet, I'm definitely leaning Charles, but on the ground, I'm leaning Islam. It's very interesting, very very interesting, and I cannot wait to see what fucking happens.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to preview show. All right, UFC Fight Night, guys. We will be live for Fight Companion this Saturday. I don't know what time the card starts. I think it's like 3 or 4, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Figure that out with your time zones, guys. Corey Sandhagen, Song Yadong, main event of the evening. Let's get right into it. Corey Sandhagen coming in at a minus 210 to a plus 175. Song Yadong. This is a very competitive fight, dude.
Oh, dude, this is a great matchup, and this is the one that we were calling before this fight was even announced. We said Song Yadong deserves a top guy in this bantamweight division, and we knew looking at Corey Sandhagen, you know, Sandhagen's a great fighter, but again, he is on a 2-fight losing streak to the top athletes in this division, TJ Dillashaw and Petr Yan. But, you know, he kind of needs that guy who's on the up and up, who is a very strong fighter that is looking for another win. And that is Song Yadong, man. I mean, this guy has been so impressive as of late. He defeated Casey Kenny, who went out and fought Dominic Cruz not too long ago, fought Julio Arce, and then Marlon Moraes with that vicious knockout. Song Yadong, man, this guy can strike. He's lightning fast. Eight knockouts, 3 submissions, 8 decisions. Whereas Corey Sandhagen, kind of on that same path, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions, 5 decisions. This is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be 5 rounds. I keep going back and forth, man. This is a really, really hard pick for me.
Sandhagen's what, on a 3 or 4 fight losing streak?
Sandhagen's on a 2-fight losing streak.
Oh, that's
he lost to
He lost to Aljamain Sterling back at UFC 250. That was back in 2020, but then beat Marlon Moraes and Frankie Edgar.
That's
Remember
right.
that Frankie
Okay,
Edgar
yeah,
knockout?
that fucking knee.
he
Holy
lost
shit.
to who's
Yeah,
PED boy.
yeah, TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, he lost
And
to
then Petr
TJ
Yan.
Dillashaw, even though I thought
PED boy.
That
even
was a
though-
split decision.
Even though I thought he won that fight, but
And
that's
then he
fine.
lost
Neither
to
here nor there.
Petr
But then
Yan.
he was dominating Petr for those first 2 rounds, and then Petr just took over.
You know what? I'm excited to see Sandhagen back. You know, it's been a full year by the time this card happens. You know, last time he fought was Petr Yan, October 30th, 2021. So he's taking a full year off. So I'm excited to see him back in the octagon for sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Corey Sandhagen, Song Yadong. I mean, I'm just trying to think about it, like in my head, like how can Song Yadong deal with that length of Corey Sandhagen? Like he's very lengthy.
Yeah, no,
very
but
tall.
I mean, Song Yadong's pretty lengthy himself too. I mean, he's
Very
got a
true.
long reach and he's got a lot of power behind his strikes, man. And
he's so
one
young.
thing, he's so young.
Both of these men are.
And the way Song Yadong moves, man, his footwork is incredible. Corey's a little bit more unorthodox, but also has great footwork. But Song he's in, throws 3 punches, and is out. I mean, his movement, his fluidity is just so top notch for this division. This is a really hard one for me to pick, but man, this line is wild to me. Corey Sandhagen coming in at a minus 210 favorite to a plus 175 Song Yadong. I figured these odds would have been a lot closer than this. And for that reason and that reason alone, I definitely think Corey Sandhagen has the capability. He has the striking. He's a well-rounded fighter. But because these odds are so drastic, I am actually picking Song Yadong here. I'm going to lay 1,000 church coin on him for the win at a plus 175. I can't pass that up.
You can't. Every time you say, and for that reason and that reason only, I just think of Shark Tank. I think back to say, not for that reason, I'm out.
And for that reason, I am out. Just drop the mic, walk out.
At a plus 175, and for that reason only, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. This
Come
is
on,
a
Tabor,
tough
give us your
fight,
breakdown, man. Who do you got?
know. I mean, both these men are fantastic on the feet. Corey Sandhagen is incredible on the ground. Song Yadong is so well-rounded. He's got the power to knock out anybody. If Song Yadong catches Corey Sandhagen, is he going to knock him out? If Corey Sandhagen fucking gets Song Yadong down, is he going to submit him? I don't know, man. This is such a good fight. I don't know. Fuck it. I'll take the dog. I'm going to go with Song Yadong, too. You put 1,000 church coin on him?
Yep.
2,000 church coin on Song Yadong. It's just because I think Song can catch him. I think Song can knock Corey Sandhagen out cold. I mean, have we seen that yet?
Nope.
No, but I think he could be the first, and he's so technical. He's so good. What is it, like 23 or 24 years old?
Yeah.
And he's getting better and better with every single fight, and he's finally getting a top 5 legitimate matchup to see if he can compete with the top echelon of this division, and I love it for him. I mean, Song Yadong is so fucking good. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to take Song Yadong. I'm going to put 2,000 church coin on him.
All right, moving on to the next fight. Sadiq Yusuf versus a new and upcoming guy making his debut. It's opponent TBA. Cannot wait for this matchup. Opponent TBA has not
I've never
fought
heard of this
yet,
guy.
and-
Where's he come
No,
from?
so guys, that's what ESPN says because we still do not have an opponent for Sadiq Yusuf. Giga Chikadze had to drop out 2 days ago due to an injury. So at this point, we just don't really know what's gonna
Probably
take
not
place.
even going to be on the card.
He probably won't.
Yeah.
He probably won't, or they'll throw him a contender guy, and unfortunately that guy will probably get starched because Sadiq Yusuf is
good,
no joke.
Yeah.
You think if I complain to them like, hey, I went to the trouble of making the graphic for this overlay, now I can't use it, disappointed, can you just get back in there? You think
No, they
you'd
tell you
fight?
to
Or?
go fuck
I don't think
yourself.
they care. No.
Wow, it's kind of...
All right, let's move on to this fight. I hate
Chidi
saying this guy's-
Ninjokwani. Ninjokwani
versus Gregory Rodriguez.
Banger.
you taking?
This
Banger.
is the sleeper fight on this card because these guys aren't very well known. You guys, both these individuals crack, dude. Both these guys are incredible fighters. I mean, Chidi, let's talk about Chidi, man. I mean, this guy, KO. His last 4 wins, KO. That Dusko Todorovic fight, his last fight, do you remember that knockout? Mm-hmm. That elbow knockout in the first round where he's just like, vroom, boom, and just hits the mats. I mean, this guy has got tremendous power, dude.
Gregory's coming off KOs too, right?
Yeah. Oh, Gregory just knocked out Julian Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez.
Yeah.
Man.
Party in the
Yeah, he knocked
this
him
is-
out in the first round.
Banger. Someone's going out cold. Easy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
it's a
Someone
minus
goes
110 pick 'em fight. Both men minus 110.
And you might take one look at Gregory Rodriguez and go, what is that guy, 50 years old? No, he's actually only
He looks 300
30,
years old.
but he looks weathered and aged.
You know
but
who
is
he looks
also
like?
young.
An Egyptian, like, high official. Like, ruler, almost.
I'm glad you said that, not me. All right. He could be a high ruler. We don't know. But no, Dude, I'm telling you right now, I love Gregory Rodriguez. I think he's a phenomenal fighter as well. But this is a pick'em fight here at a -110 apiece for both these fighters. But I gotta go with Chitty Bang Bang. Are you kidding me or what, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 4 KOs.
This guy's got so much power. He's so much fun to watch and a really, really good guy, too. Give me Chitty Bang Bang. Give me 3,000 church coin
Man,
on
put some
Chitty
stank
Bang
on that
Bang.
name. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
What a cool
Damn,
name.
3,000. Going all out.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put 1,000 on Chitty. I absolutely agree with you. I do think he's going to get the knock. Fuck it. You know what? I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'll go Gregory.
I know.
Okay. We got to make it a little different.
I don't want to be the same every time.
Yeah, I'll go Gregory. 1,000 church coin. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This is going to be a banger, guys. Astros fight could be possible fight of the night. Could be a quick KO, too.
Yep.
In the next matchup, we got a really good one as well. Andre Fili coming in at -130 to +110. Bill Algeo. Banger, dude. I'm telling you right now, Fili looked fucking good in this last fight, dude.
Well, this is well, not really, because he lost his last fight against Brito.
Maybe I'm thinking of the one he got
knocked
disqualified in.
Yeah, the Daniel Pineda fight.
was
Yeah.
thinking-
When was his last fight then?
So he fought, dude. He's on a 2-fight losing streak and then a no contest in between those. He lost
So the
to
no
Bryce
contest
Mitchell.
is what I was talking about when he looked incredible.
Yeah, he lost to Bryce Mitchell and no contest to Daniel Pineda, and then Joe Anderson Brito KO'd him in the first
Okay,
round
I don't remember that fight.
in 41 seconds.
Okay, I take
Oh,
all of
do.
that back
was
then.
wild.
If Andrew Fili sucks.
But no, Andre Fili is actually a really good fighter, man. In all seriousness, still a relatively young guy. He is on a bit of a skid, but I mean, let's keep in mind too. He also beat Charles Jourdain not too long ago, about 2 years
no,
ago.
he's fucking good.
Yeah, he's
Bill
good.
Algeo's really good too.
But man, Bill Algeo is that guy, man. And Bill Algeo coming off a win against Joe Anderson Brito, that decision, unanimous decision, and then unfortunately for Gilbert Burns' little brother Herbert Burns, he TKO'd him, which was kind of like an injury. Herbert Burns, I remember, had an injury during that fight and kind of had to give up because he was compromised. But I do like this fight quite a bit, guys. This is definitely a sleeper card. We're not huge names, but you know these guys are going to come out and have a great fight. I love the fact that Bill Algeo here is an underdog. I'm going to bet heavy on Algeo here. I'm going to go 1,000 church coin on Algeo.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going heavy on Algeo. I think he's so long and lengthy for the division. I mean, I remember when this guy fought in the Contender Series, Algeo did, he literally landed a knee while standing.
Yeah.
His other foot didn't leave the fucking ground, landed a knee to the guy's chin. It was like, what the fuck? How flexible can you be to do that? He's got beautiful elbows, beautiful knees, beautiful kicks. Everything that Bill Algeo does is fantastic. Andre Fili is mainly a boxer, but I mean, he's got a pretty good ground game as well. I'm going with Algeo. I think he's going to get the victory there as well. I'm going to put 2,000 church coin on him. Let's move on to the next fight. Joe Pyfer coming in at -420 to a +330. Alan Adamevsky. Amedovsky.
Did that Mariana Moroz versus Saraja Eubanks, did that fight get put down to the prelims now?
I don't know.
It might have, because this fight was initially a prelim fight, this Joe Pyfer versus Alan Armanvosky.
None of these names makes any sense to me. I don't know who either of these guys are. I can't
No,
remember.
well, that probably makes sense because Joseph
Pfeiffer's
Pyfer was the Contender Series guy.
Okay.
So he fought just July 2026. So he was just on the Dana White's Contender Series, and then what's his face? Amadovsky has had a rough go of it. He's on a 3-fight losing streak in the UFC. Took 3 years off, came back, and it didn't help him any because he lost that fight as well. Yeah, a little rough. I'm definitely going to go with the Contender Series guy here, Joe Pyfer, 9-2, and a -420 favorite. Give me 100 church coin on Pyfer for the win.
I'll go the opposite direction because fuck it, why not? This guy's got a Russian sounding last name and a beard, so you know what that means for me. I'm going to put money on him. 500 church coin on that guy. Hopefully the streak leaves him. It's probably not going to. Tanner Bozer coming in at -195 to a +165. Rodrigo.
Wow, I like the little tongue roll there.
Nice.
Very impressive.
Nascimento, I don't know.
Nascimento, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
close
his last
enough.
name. You got it. You're doing a good job there.
You forgot the last part. Put some stank on the R's though.
Yeah, not me. I can't do it. I can't put any of that on
Can't do the Rodrigo.
No, dude, I'm too retarded.
Too white.
Yes.
Let's talk about this. Here we go. So Tanner Bozer, was on a 2-fight losing streak before taking on Ovince St. Preux, who should have retired 20 years ago. but he did knock him out in the second round. He did lose to Ayer Latifi and Andre Arlovsky before that, both by decision. Tanner Boser still in the mix here in this heavyweight division. But at the same time, man, he's taking on a guy, Nascimento. That Alan Badeau fight actually got overturned to a no contest. I think that was due to a dick kick. I believe so. I might be wrong on that. And then he lost to Chris Dawkins. So this one's kind of close. Old Yogi Bear here or Tanner Boser. Go ahead and give me Boser. I'm going to take 100 on Boser for the win.
I'm going to take Boser as well. I'm going to put 500 church coin on him for the win. I just know him more than Rodrigo. But Rodrigo is 9-1. I mean, Boser's got a lot of experience. So, I mean, he's got 29 fights compared to 10 fights of Rodrigo. So, I mean, the experience could really add up, especially in this heavyweight division. And Tanner Boser is a well-known guy in this division, and I do like his striking style. So, I'm going to take Tanner Boser, 500 church coin. Let's get into prop bets because we did not do that for the main event. My prop bet is going to be Sandhagen KO, 500 church coin. And let's go to parlays now. Or you want to give your prop first?
Yeah, I'll give my prop. I'm going to go, my prop is going to be Sandhagen by decision for 1,000.
Head in your bet, huh?
Yep.
All right. This is a tough one for the parlay. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go Song Yadong, Chidi, Bill Algeo. 3-5 parlay. Let's do 1,000 church coin.
All right. My parlay this week is going to be a small one this week. I am just going to go Chidi and Bill Algeo for all in. So the rest of my church coin. So that's probably about 2,000 church coin, roughly.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. Anything we need to announce before we leave today?
No, guys, some big changes coming at the start of next year. We're not going to announce anything yet, but I don't know if you guys noticed these brand new arms here. We got some new arms coming into the studio, some new mics. So shout out to everyone who super chats and donates and is members of the channel because we're able to upgrade our equipment. We got a lot of things coming in the works, guys, in 2023. We're not going to announce anything right now because we're working on a ton of stuff. But we are very excited to talk about it eventually and announce some things. And maybe we'll sparingly throughout the months when we get some things organized. We have a huge meeting here in the next 2 weeks, bringing in the whole team. We're just taking a whole day for that one Saturday where there's no card. We're going to meet up at 8 a.m. and we're not getting out of here until 9 or 10 p.m., whenever it takes to get all these things done. Devin doesn't have to stay. He's giving me a weird cross-eyed look there. But
12
me and Tabor,
hours of no pay? Look, man, I got to be out there hustling and grinding.
And that's why you don't get paid.
That's why you don't get paid.
Not
You
dedicated.
guys are taking advantage of me.
But
a little bit.
But yeah, guys. So we just appreciate you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do. Like seriously, like we just really want to grow this show. We want to do this for a living. That's the goal. That's the dream. And you guys make it possible. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, thank to each and every single one of you guys that was here today, and each and every single one of you that was in the chats yesterday. Had a lot of fun on that Fight Companion. We will be live again this Saturday for the Fight Companion, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Might bring out the wheel, might have a few guests, or it could just be us hanging out bullshitting, but either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. So shout out to Teron Brown, Lomzum Filter, Cosmo Reverb, Kevin. Thank you guys so much for showing up here today. Lamza said, great show, lads. I had an enjoyable walk to the shops there listening to you. Thanks.
That means a lot
thanks,
because when I listen to stuff on my walks or anything like that where I'm driving, it feels good. So it feels good coming from Lamza. I hope you...
Thanks, man.
When you're doing an activity and you're listening to someone, that's us to him now. You're just weird to think about.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Lamza.
Yeah, shout out to you, Kevin. Thank you for the recap is what he said. Yeah, of course, man. This is why we do it. Thank you for showing up week after week, man. Appreciate the fuck out of you. Guys, if you haven't already, join our memberships. You know, $3 a month. It gives you a lot of exclusive content. We're going to start posting vlogs more. I'd love to start doing more Fight Companion vlogs.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like those were a lot of fun. We did those. We need to do more of those. We're going to start doing, we're going to start bringing back the second services. Those will be membership only stuff. So you'll get exclusive podcasts, exclusive vlogs, stuff like that. So join in the membership. But not only that, you get exclusive emojis you can use in the chat. You get a badge down by your name. Look at Cosmo. He's a brown belt. Look at my name. I'm brown belt as well. Guys, start off as a white belt, work your way up to a black belt, and then you become a saint. Guys, so all of that money goes right back into the show. Like Mason said, we did buy a few upgrades. We've got these new boom arms that should be silent, and they're really fucking nice, by the way. So shout out to you, Mason, for getting that. Yeah, lots of changes coming. We're very, very excited for the future. If If you haven't already, guys, share this live stream on your guys' social media accounts, okay? It helps us out a lot. If you haven't already, guys, smash the like button. It helps out a lot. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, as always, subscribe down below. Once again, guys, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at The Church of MMA. Also TikTok, guys, and shorts here on YouTube as well. Smash those like buttons. Make sure you share those on your social media accounts, guys. It really helps us out. And we're going to post funny memes trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up.
Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen, Devin Davis on the ones and twos. And until next time,
Peace.